My name's Amy Southwell and I'm from Norfolk, England. So I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 16 years old. Had my first tonic-clonic seizure out of nowhere. I was simply sat in college and I was sat in class, and the next thing I know, I've got several scared teachers looking at me, wondering what's just happened, and while I'm lying on the floor, which isn't exactly helpful. At that point, my seizures are very uncontrolled, and I was very scared to leave my room because it could strike out of nowhere. I was worried. I didn't want to be crossing the road, have a drop seizure, and then get hit by a car or anything. I was also very worried about what people would think, because if you just see a young person convulsing on the floor, a lot of the time people would assume that they were drunk or on drugs, which isn't ideal at all, when in fact I'm having a medical crisis and I need help. So it's obviously not an ideal situation to be when you're 16 years old, wanting to go out with your friends, and then you're basically struck with doctor's appointments, blood tests, and not many teenagers, when they're 16, 17, have to add a cocktail of medication to their morning routine or their daily routine. So that didn't help my self-confidence at all. When I've had seizures in public, I've been very fortunate. I've always had someone with me, because obviously I was scared to go on my own. I've had someone with me who knows both me and seizure first aid. So I was very lucky with that fact. However, a few years ago, I was on a plane and had a tonic-clonic seizure. And obviously, even though people on the plane are first aid trained and there were some midwives and doctors around that could help me, it was scary because when you're thousands of feet up in the air, medical equipment is very limited. So that scared me. I think I was more worried about the people sat next to me than I was myself, because that's just the person I am. I'm always worried about more about other people than I am myself. And I didn't want them to be scared of what just happened. If people are always concerned, I'd always say, if in doubt, phone an ambulance. Protect their head as well, because concussions aren't fun. They are very painful. But if ever you are in doubt, please just phone an ambulance, because we're not always wearing medical ID. I personally have all my medical information on my phone. I'm very lucky that Apple has the medical ID that you can access from the lock screen. So that's always on my phone, but not many people know how to access that. For instance, a few months ago, I'm now able to start driving. I said to my driving instructor, just out of pure curiosity, I said to him, if I had tonic-clonic seizure while I was driving, would you know what to do? Bless him, he demonstrated how to do an emergency stop, and he told me he could bring the car to a stop safely. But after that, I then said, what would you do to keep me alive? And he didn't have a clue. So I just remember for about 10, 15 minutes, I explained to him what to do. I walked him through everything step by step. I told him to cushion my head, talk to me reassuringly, time it as well. It showed him how to access all my medical information, and then obviously always followed it up with, if in doubt, phone 999, and just don't panic. I know it's hard not to panic. You'll feel helpless because there is literally not a lot you can do apart from the steps I've previously explained, but just try your best. Do not pin me down, because that could hurt you more than it hurts me. And now that we've gone through that, I feel more confident with him, and he feels more confident with me as well, which has really helped. I also asked him if he'd received any first aid training from the company of driving instructor that he works for, and they didn't, which concerned me a bit. But now I'm happy now that we've been able to walk through what to do in the event that I have a medical episode. I feel that campaigns like this and the charity Epilepsy Action help people like me, because it spreads the word of epilepsy, seizure safety, and how to keep people safe, not just during an epileptic fit, but all seizures as well, because there's so many different types. You can have the most common ones, commonly thought of ones where you fall to the floor and shake, tonic-clonics. You can have absent seizures, you can have partial seizures. It just spreads epilepsy awareness, and that's invaluable to me because it helps keep me safe. I'm very lucky in the sense that I work in a medical field, so everyone is always trained on how to deal with seizures, but that's not always the case. So this reassures me going out in public as well. It makes me feel more confident.